Hey, Stuart.
Hello, Elliot. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Good. So tell us something about yourself. What are you doing in Spain?
Well, I'm a 26-year-old American from Wisconsin, and I'm a Auxiliar de Conversación, so I'm a language assistant at an elementary school in Fuenlabrada, a suburb of Madrid.
Okay.
I've been here since September, and I haven't looked back. It's been a great time this far, quarantine and all.
And what brought you to Spain in the first place? Was it just to experience that program that you were on, or did you have other ideas?
There was a few things. It was sort of a personal quest to learn and better my Spanish. Of course, the job was important. I had worked in education last year in Wisconsin in 2018, 2019. And so I wanted to find a sustainable way to sort of travel as a young person because a lot of people moving abroad are older. They had been in careers for years, and so they have money saved up, and that wasn't my case. So I wanted to find a way of living abroad sustainably, and this happened to come into my lap, and it's been great.
So how did you find out about that Auxiliares program? So let's just tell the viewers what that is. So it's a program that the Spanish government organises, right? That you come to a city in Spain, whether it be Madrid or maybe somewhere down south in Andalusia, and you work in a government school. Is that right?
Right, we work in public schools. A huge percentage of public schools here throughout Spain are now bilingual, colegios bilingüe.
Yeah.
And so they look for native English speakers from all over the world, from the UK, from the US, from down under, and they want these English speakers to come into the classroom and assist English professors, because sometimes the English professors here,
The teachers, right?
Right, the teachers, they hadn't maybe immerse themselves in an English-speaking country. So while they're grammatically really good, they lack, and they know that, and so they look for help in that way, especially with the verbal part and the pronunciation, and correcting, and just being a energetic assistant and being enthusiastic.
So that's what you saw. So you go into the classroom. The teachers are Spanish, obviously. They're Spanish teachers. They teach English. They have good grammatical skills, but they lack the communication skills. Is that right?
Right. Not all of them had the experience to live in a native English-speaking country, and so that's where we come in, and we just assist the classroom, and sometimes the teachers allow us to do a lot of teaching, and other times it's the teacher is in control and we adapt to the environment.
And what subjects are taught in English?
So of course English, but this year, for example, I had helped in social studies, science.
Yep.
Sometimes I would go in the math classroom even. But generally, social sciences, science, and English are what we are assisting in. And it's all in English, so I'm not supposed to speak in Spanish. Although I know Spanish, some of the kids, they don't know I know Spanish. And so really my goal is, and my purpose is to not speak any Spanish unless absolutely necessary. And so they need to get used to hearing me speak at a native fluent level. And you do that for the whole school year, and it really does make a difference.
Okay, good. And the kids have a good level of English?
Yes, so of course it varies by age. I was with first and second graders this year, but I was totally impressed at how intelligent and how much these young students absorb information and remember. And so for young students, starting early, these guys, they're exceptional. And then sometimes I would move up to the higher levels, the fifth and sixth graders, and they're having full-on conversations in English. They're talking about concepts. They're really advanced. I can't speak for the past years or other schools, but in my experience, I've been super impressed with the overall level of English in this particular school in Fuenlabrada.
Cool. And Fuenlabrada it's a city, right? It's in the south of Madrid?
Yeah, Fuenlabrada is a suburb about 15 to 20 minutes by bus from the Madrid city limits. It's in the community of Madrid, so the region of Madrid, the autonomous community.
But it's its own city, though.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So you don't live in Fuenlabrada. You live somewhere else?
I live in Carabanchel, which is another district in the in the urban metro zone of Madrid.
Yep.
It's a rather large district, and it's been great. It's been a pleasant surprise moving here. I didn't expect to live here, but me and my roommates, originally we found an apartment here.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful.
Ah, cool. Yeah, I know Carabanchel is one of the bigger areas in Spain. You have Carabanchel Alto, I
Right.
think, and Carabanchel Bajo.
Correct.
Where are you, in the Alto or the Bajo?
I'm in the Alto, so near the southern portion of Carabanchel.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly where I am, by metro stop Aluche. Aluche is the
Okay,
name.
good. Yeah, I know that area because I used to have to go there to get my residency done. It's where the police
Sure.
station is.
I'm right by that police station, and right now it's open again. It's busy. There's a line every day,
Yeah.
as you can imagine.
It used to be a prison. Did you know?
It looks like it would have been a prison. When I had U.S. friends come visit me, they go, "Elliot, what is that? Is that a factory, a prison?" And it's a police station, but no, that makes sense now. So thanks for filling me in on that.
Yeah, it was a prison. They knocked it down and they turned part of it into the police station for foreigners, basically. And it's also a place where they keep illegal foreigners as well. So I remember a couple of years ago I went there and there were people yelling out, because obviously they're locked in rooms and stuff. So there were people sort of yelling out at people walking past to try to get some attention.
Oh,
I don't know whether it's still the same, but it was one of these, what they call the I forget what they call them, but it's like a centro de acogida, I think, one of these places where they put illegal immigrants in until they can organise the paperwork. Yeah, I don't know whether it's still the same though. However.
Well, it makes geographical sense because upon further research, Carabanchel, this large district, is predominantly immigrants living here. So Spaniards are the minority here in this particular district, and it's mostly immigrants from South America, from the Middle East, from China, and so it would make sense that it would be in this location.
It's got a big Latino feel to it down there, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes I didn't expect this, but sometimes I feel like I'm back in Central or South America in terms of just sort of the ambiance and the people and the music and the fruterias and the vegetable stores.
Yeah.
It gives me a good home feeling because I had spent some time in Central America the last 4 years.
So what took a guy from Wisconsin, which is, what do they call that, Middle America, Elliot?
Right. We're the Midwest. So we're in the middle of the Midwest part of the United States. I'm from a small town called Ladysmith, Wisconsin, way up north by Lake Superior. And really, I had never thought I would be learning Spanish, but I went to university in a place called Eau Claire, Wisconsin, east of Minneapolis, about 2 hours, Minneapolis, a rather large city. And I took an intro-level Spanish class, and I sort of liked it. And the professor at the time, she said, "You should keep studying Spanish." And so I did. I continued, and I was always interested in biology, so I wanted to go to Costa Rica to sort of have that jungle, that tropical biodiversity. Mm-hmm. But long story short, I ended up pursuing Spanish and geography as a result of taking an intro-level Spanish class in university. And it sort of changed my life in so many ways.
And what are some of the places that you visited in that part of the world?
So I did my study abroad immersion in summer 2015 in Costa Rica, up near the capital, San Jose. And then from there, that was sort of my home base. I got paired with a host family, a Costa Rican host family, and I would branch out. I would go to Panama. First, I would explore all of Costa Rica, but then I would go to Panama a little bit for a couple weeks, come back, go to Nicaragua. Then I'd, every trip I'd advance, go to Colombia. Then I'd, just keep branching out because it was in proximity to the rest of those countries. It was just very, very easy to travel.
Okay, cool.
And the Spanish facilitated everything, I didn't have an issue, lacking communication once I had established, at least the intermediate level of Spanish at the time.
Okay, good. How does the Spanish differ between those countries and this one?
Wow, it's a tough question, but it's so nuanced because the Spanish in Costa Rica, it's a small country, is so different than even Panama and Nicaragua and Colombia in terms of accent, in terms of colloquial words.
Yep.
And so I would say the biggest difference is, so say you're reading, Shakespeare in English, right? And you're going, even though you're a native English speaker, you're going, wow, what does this mean? What does this sentence mean? So the Spain Spanish is like more out of a literature book, so to speak. And so it's like academic. It's what we learn in the academic textbooks in the United States if we're learning Spanish. So we learn the academic Spanish from Spain, but the colloquial street Spanish, the music, it all is based in Latin America because of the proximity. So all that colorful culture, that Spanish comes from Latin America, versus the Spain Spanish is what you see in the theaters and the classical Spanish, right? So I guess that's how I could differentiate.
And obviously here in Spain, people are a lot different as well, would you say?
Yeah, well, in general, I've had great experiences. Spaniards are very friendly, always willing to help if I ask for help. But it's not the same in the sense that in Costa Rica, you go out your door, you say hi to every one of your neighbors, everyone's smiling at you even if they don't know you, and they always greet you, and it's just so easy to make friends. Not that it's not easy to make friends here, but generally in Madrid, they're doing their own thing. It's a big city. If I try to make friends, I can, but it just doesn't happen like that.
And what are some of the differences? Are they enormous?
Yeah, easily the biggest difference is the general security, right? So in Costa Rica, the sun, in the tropics, the sun sets early, it gets dark. Yeah. So it's a general rule that you go home, you lock your door, and everything's has gates, everything's enclosed, and you hang out with your family. You don't go out venturing late at night. And you always take extra precautions that, coming from northern Wisconsin, I wasn't used to. That was sort of a culture shock. And then coming to Spain, I was still used to that, looking over my back, but I realized after a few weeks that, sure, I'll take precautions, but in general, Spain, the security is incredible, and the respect for one another and their well-being is just at a different level. Yeah. And if you talk to Latinos that move here from Colombia, from Venezuela, from Ecuador, they'll all say the same thing about the security. So that's the biggest difference, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think you also mentioned when we spoke before that a lot of people that you were working with, a lot of your colleagues, other Americans that had come over to do this program, took up and left as soon as the COVID situation hit. You decided just to hang around?
Yeah, so the first 2 weeks in March, we knew the virus was sort of present, it was coming, and then all of a sudden school was canceled. I remember it was like March 14th. And some of us were thinking, wow, is this a vacation? Or even the teachers and the director of the school, is this a vacation? We didn't know what was going on. And then we found out that it's really a serious thing, and it was quite scary. So a lot of my colleagues and friends who were doing the same program, they impulsively bought plane tickets because we couldn't imagine being quarantined in these little interior apartments. And we thought, hey, this is dangerous. We want to be with our family. If it comes to this, based on history, if the Spanish flu in the 1918, 1919, if it's anything like this, we want to be with our family. And I thought that too. But really, at the same time, my parents are older, and I didn't want to put them at risk. So I thought, you know what? I'm I can endure this. Yep. Let's see what happens. I still have my job. I was teleworking, so I just toughed it out. I tried to do it, and I'm still here.
Good. And what was it like before that? So before all of this went down, what was the vibe like amongst the teachers? Did you all used to get together at weekends and go into central Madrid and hang out?
Yeah. So the assistants were generally younger people fresh out of college up to age 30. We would always hang out, and we'd go get tapas, and this was just part of the Spanish culture. I love this. And my teachers, we would get coffee on lunch break. We had coffee and tea time every day during recreational hour. And it was just a different lifestyle that, for someone who's social, I just embraced it, and I loved every minute of it. And I go, this culture, this social atmosphere, this ability to meet people, this is what I had been looking for. Yeah. And I just love it. Yeah.
You don't get that so much in Wisconsin?
Well, in Wisconsin, we're pretty friendly, but still, culturally speaking, we have cars, we drive to work, we work 40 hours a week. we don't always have time to do this, and we don't go on a metro, so we're not walking around the city. The cities aren't designed for pedestrians.
Yeah, they're designed for cars.
So
yeah,
they're designed for cars and for working, And if you love to work, it's a great place. It really is. It's a great place. The opportunities are endless. But my experience in Latin America showed me that I love this social aspect in this lifestyle. It's called pura vida in Costa Rica, pure life. Enjoy your life, focus on your social relationships, and that's what the main focus is. And I love that. And in Spain has some similarities between that lifestyle that I couldn't get in Wisconsin. And
that was one of the things that you obviously really like about living here is that social atmosphere. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. And now with the new norm, the new normality, with measures, it's sort of coming back. But as a result of being here alone through the quarantine, I focused on enjoying my time alone. So although I like to meet people, I've focused on enjoying my time alone in my own thoughts in my apartment. What can I do to compromise? And so there's indirectly that came from this as well.
And you've also got focused, and you've set up a YouTube channel or something, or a vlog or something that you're going to try to take forward in the future.
Yeah. I call myself Adventure Elliot because every day, big or small, I try to take an adventure. If that means going to the supermarket, I consider that a venture. If that means going to Malaga, a city on the coast of the Mediterranean in Spain, that's an adventure. And what happens in between is what I try to show. So, for example, the other day I was playing basketball in a park, and there were some young Dominican guys, and they were playing basketball. And because I spoke Spanish, we ended up playing basketball together. And this happens on a daily basis, whether I try it or not.
Yeah.
And so these are adventures that I'm trying to show in my life. Yeah.
Cool. And as I said, you're going to take that forward and keep on putting out videos regularly?
Yeah. I'm going to be in Spain for another year, at least until this time next year. And Spain's unique in the sense that there's plenty of things to show and people to show. And I don't plan on stopping. And because I realized I really like to do this. And I had been doing it before, but I would be taking pictures with my phone, or I would be doing the same thing, living the same way, but I wasn't able to properly document it. And so that's what I focused on in the quarantine is how do you become a YouTuber? How do you vlog? How do you write a script? And so forth.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work. It's not easy, but I don't feel like it's work because it's so much fun to me.
Yeah, well, at the moment it is, but it'll wear you down.
Okay, yeah.
What's the so apart from your family, obviously, and your friends that you've got back there in Wisconsin, what are some of the things that you miss about the States?
Yeah, I miss. Speaking on the quarantine, I miss the open space, the yards. We have big yards, and we have forests, and a breath of fresh air, and the greenery, right? The mild climates, at least where I'm from. I miss going out and just taking a walk in the forest. Not that I can't do that here, but in Madrid, it's a very urbanly dense city, and you don't have that same privacy. I miss in United States, if you want to get a job, you can get a job. If you try, you can get a job, whatever it may be, the same day. You can hustle. You can really your opportunities to hustle are endless in the United States.
Yeah.
And as a foreigner on a student visa here, I don't have that same opportunity, so I have to be very careful with my budget.
Yeah. But you've got the language skills. You said you have a good level of Spanish. You're able to meet people fairly easily, and create opportunity, I suppose. Elliot, would you say?
Yeah. So the Spanish, the way I think about it, I told myself when I started learning, if I can become fluent in Spanish, I was looking at some statistics. The number one language spoken in the world is Mandarin Chinese.
Yep.
Some people would think English would be number 2 for native speakers, but it's actually Spanish, right? And in terms of first language. So if I can speak Spanish and English, how many people can I reach for whatever reason, whether that's making friends, whether that's business opportunities, and everywhere I go, because of my Spanish here, particularly in Spain or Latin America, I just constantly meet people and form bonds, and I network and form true relationships, and there's a true genuine interest there, and and I've only been doing this for a few years. I can only imagine 10 years from now what my life's going to be like, based solely on the fact that I learned Spanish and I pursued it.
That's right. Open more doors.
Yes. And I'm sure for you, moving to Spain, that you can speak on my behalf that, similar things have happened for you as well.
Yeah, well, to be honest, when I was your age back in the day, Elliot, I thought exactly the same. I thought that learning another language, whether it be Spanish or any other language, opens you up to a whole new world. You know what I mean? It's another way of thinking. It's a whole new group of people that you're able to communicate with and share your ideas. And you'll definitely go forward with that. So the plan is that you're going to be here for another year, working at the same school, or do you have to go to another one?
Yep, I reapplied to the same school because I have wonderful colleagues and I'll be staying there. I do like elementary school. I learned. I originally wanted to be with high schoolers, but I learned that elementary schoolers are really fun, engaging, and they're motivated to learn, and they absorb everything. So I'm going to stay here. I'm comfortable with the school. I'm comfortable with the location, and Madrid's just a great kind of home base for Spain and also for Europe. If you want to travel around Europe.
That's right, because, easy to get planes in and out, or when they're up and running again, of course.
Sure. We don't know any of that yet, but obviously in theory, so.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Well, it's a little bit too early to tell what's going to happen in the next few months, but we'll see. Hopefully things will get back to some type of normal sooner rather than later, as I always say. So I'll start to wrap it up there, Elliot. It's been great speaking to you. We'll make people aware of your YouTube channel so they can share your adventures with you. Adventure Elliot, I think you said it was called, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Adventure Elliot, ELLIOT.
Great, and have a great summer and a great next year, and hopefully the health situation won't get in the way again.
All right. Hey, Stuart, I just want to say thanks for all your videos. You were my main source of news throughout this whole process, and I really appreciate it, and everybody else that subscribes to your channel also appreciates it.
Yeah, I get a lot of people say the same thing, Elliot. It's amazing how many people you can reach, and it wasn't easy putting the videos out every couple of days, but I realized that a lot of people were watching them, a lot of people were getting information through it. So if it helped, I'm glad.
All right, mate. Thanks.
No worries. Have a good one. See you later.
All right.